go. What's going on, everybody? This is Pac-Man 1987, and I am here today. I'm working on a Soyuz. Last time I streamed, I did a Vostok. Did pretty well. It was a neat vehicle, but, you know, really simple. There was the Voskad in between, which was... I'm not going to do one, because it's really, honestly... It's more complicated than this, but it's really just a Vostok with 2 or 3 people stuffed into it that could do a few extra things. So I figured I'd skip straight to Soyuz, because there's a lot going on with the Soyuz. Much more complicated vehicle. I think it's gonna be fun. I wanna make one that looks right and handles right. So we'll see how I do here. Let's give it a shot. So where I'm gonna start with Soyuz is the re-entry capsule, which is a little more complicated than you'd think. We do have Soyuz parts. We have 3 capsules. We have a 3-man re-entry capsule, which is what Soyuz has. But if you ever took a really close look at what Soyuz actually is, this is kind of what it is, but the re-entry capsule is actually kind of like American capsules, where it's a more of like a teardrop shape with a heat shield on the bottom, and comes in for a little more control over its trajectory. And I'm gonna do that. So I've seen the way a few other people have done it, and I'm gonna give my kind of own spin on it to get it to do some of the things that the real vehicle does. This is probably gonna take some testing to make sure that it doesn't blow up and that it all works. So let's start there. So we got our capsule. That's all well and good. First thing we need to do is this thing. This is a separator. This is normally what separates it from the vehicle. It pops off and then you can re-enter. Getting rid of that. Disabled. Not a thing we want. Second thing, getting rid of the ablator for weight purposes, because it's not going to need it here. It's going to need it at the bottom where I'm going to stick an ablation shield. So that's step 1. So to get this to be a conical re-entry capsule, I've seen a few people do this. I'm going to give it a try. It's a good idea. We want an aerodynamic protective shell. Don't want to build it just yet. What we want to do, I want to offset it into the vehicle here like so. Let's try to make it as compact as we possibly can. Could actually run into a problem. That looks good. Keep some of it between the vehicle and the ground. Question mark. Because the real capsule is really small. There's not a whole lot to it. Now the next step, before I build the fairing on this, I want to add a few details. We don't need to add electricity because it's got plenty of it. 50 charge is more than enough to get this thing to the ground. What we do want to add is a little tiny bit of monoprop, because it actually has monopropellant. Has RCS thrusters. I think they're actually hydrogen peroxide thrusters. Real deal. So it does control its attitude that way. We'll use the minified ones. And we're just going to stuff them in here. I'm going to do 2 of them for balance purposes. Kind of stick them on the side of the hull here. We're not going to load them up with much. Thinking like, well, we'll play with it. We're going to translate these right on into the vehicle so they just creep out enough that I can get them to modify them. So let's do an initial whack at the fairing. That's pretty solid. Now if we zoom out from that, that's a re-entry count. And then an important step here, this fairing is not staged because that's never coming off. That's part of the structure. Hello, how are you today? Now we're gonna want our RCS, which I'm gonna do this way. I'm only gonna give it pitch in one direction, well, two directions, and then roll. So it'll have to spin itself to apply pitch. At least that's my plan. I don't know what kind of control. Well, let's give it full 4-directional control authority. But before I do the 4 directions, we're gonna try this. This is how I'm gonna get it to do roll. Yeah, you know, the channel, it's growing slowly but surely. I'm really happy for that. Definitely grateful for people being interested in seeing what I'm doing. What do we got here? So this is how I'm going to do roll. I'm going to take right-angled thrusters. I'm going to kind of angle them out just a hair. Pop them out a little bit. Pull them in a little more. And that gives me roll authority in one direction, which is all I really need for a capsule. And then for my 4-directional control, this is the tricky bit. Do that. We got to do some shenanigans here. Pull that over that way, because they can be offset for roll. It doesn't really matter. It'll still control well enough. We're gonna grab these and pull them out just a hair. They actually clear that, and I think that's actually good enough. Yeah, that should be good. Maybe. I didn't mean to grab that. Tuck that in just a hair more. Spark clipping is the best. Loves me spark clipping. Love, 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 love the translate tool. It is my friend. And man, was it hard before we had that. Alright, so that gives us some since this is going to be offset, if we look at the center of mass is higher than the RCS. We could even raise that a bit. Not much, mind you. This monoprop doesn't do much weight-wise. I don't know. Can these actually get fuel? Let's see. Let's see. RCS build age should tell me. Yeah, we have translation ability. I think we got about 46 meters per second. How much is that? 7.5, 7.5? That'll be enough. Probably more than enough. But since that center of mass is offset, it'll give us a little bit of ability to control attitude. Not much. But it doesn't need to be much because it's really small. We'll see if it really works. We're going to do some testing, of course. There we have it. That's kind of the base structure. And then we're going to need a heat shield. That's electricity, not heat shields. There we go. Oh, wait, we need one other thing on here before we do the heat shield. So, the real Soyuz pod, when it's coming down to land, it lands on land. Last moment, it actually has RCS, or not RCS, it has retro rockets that fire to slow it down. We're going to add that. I don't know how well this is going to work. We're going to do some testing of that. Those are going to be 2, Autumn 2. Not 1, 2. Solid rocket engines. It doesn't really matter where they're placed. All they have to do is stick out the bottom. Actually, it does kind of matter where they're placed. That'll do. I can work with that. But I don't want them to be quad. Just two. I need. Okay. There we go. Spread them out a bit. And what do they have? That's a ridiculous source to weight ratio and way more than I need. I'm gonna limit that down to like 2.5. Only like 4 seconds, 3 seconds of burn. It doesn't need to be much. It really doesn't matter, probably. We'll up the thrust. Do some testing and see if it's too much. And then this sits on the bottom. And this is staged, so we're gonna click that, tell it to be staged. How much? Usually have a lot of ablator. I'm gonna half that. That's probably way more than I'll ever need. We'll mess with it. The other thing this capsule needs probably a Clampetron Junior. I'm gonna go with at the top here. I'm also gonna do some auto strut to grandparent part here, so this is rigid. And we do need to give it parachutes. They're gonna have to be offset. I think they're under utility, aren't they? Yeah. Probably the little ones. Because those big ones are just going to be huge on this thing. Way bigger than I want them to be. Cluster of little ones ought to do the trick. I don't know what the real one has. I suppose I could look it up, but I'll just give it a cluster of 3 drogues and we'll see how it does. This test article, I'm going to give it a probe core so I can control it. Certainly not that. What can you do? Okay, that'll work. Stick a probodobodyne on it for my test article. We're gonna slap this up on a rig and make sure some things actually work right. So it's gonna have that. Gonna have retro rockets. They're gonna actually be after the parachutes because they're gonna fire at the last moment. I think that'll be good. Let's see. Let's throw it up on a test rig. I'm gonna put it up pretty high. Do a drop test. No Kerbal. See what we can do. Alright. Couple things to check here. I'll have to work on that. There's definitely work there. Simulate a drop. That's gonna fall away. Explode violently, as it should. That didn't really work. Timing didn't work on it. Up with that. It didn't quite work either. What did it survive that? I think it survived. Let's see. No, the probe core survived. That's sad. Okay. Let's revert that. May or may not actually be able to do the retro rockets as much as I want to. Let's uprate the little guys and see. Let's just jack them up. Five seconds of full burn. Let's do it. It still didn't quite do it. I need more thrusters. Or we might need to actually pop it into the air. Let's go to the vehicle assembly building and stick it on something. We will put it on a little rocket. What we got? Nope. Yes. That looks pretty cool. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that was that large. What part is that? Not that one for sure. There we go. Very exciting things. Heck, some control authority. Not super compatible. Give it aerodynamic control authority. Doesn't even need remotely that much fuel for what I'm doing with it. Alright. Engine, separator. They're actually going to go way before that. Let's see what we can do. Launch it up out over land. Like I was lied to. Yeah, they're not going to have a lot of authority there. That's okay. Okay. See how those do. I don't know if they're going to have the surface area to slow me down. So let's say we've already come in through re-entry. We got parachutes out. We drop away the heat shield. Doesn't really work very well because the heat shield's still attached. Funny, actually. Eventually, that thing's going to outpace us. What altitude do these like to deploy? Probably 3 kilometers. Rocket blew up. Goodbye. That thing's gonna explode violently. And I do feel like these aren't gonna need the thrust that I've given them, but we're gonna test them at full thrust and see what happens. We'll lower it when I expect it to cause problems. It's like, what's our... That's doing pretty good. That's still way too fast. I don't know what the impact tolerance on these is. See what we can do with it, though. We're 11 seconds from impact. They're burning at 3 seconds to impact. 4, because it's a 5-second burn. That was way too early. Okay. See if it survives. I think not. I think it could. I think it really could. Do another one. Let's launch another one. A shot. You want to adjust those parachutes. Then lots of slowdown time. The max, 5 kilometers. Give them 3. Okay. Feel like we can give the retro rockets maybe less thrust, but more. How long would they burn? 50%. Try that. I'm just not 100% that that's going to work. We'll try it. Oh yeah, we need to... We'll adjust that. Let's see. Equation toggles. but pitch off. See, I don't think I'm going to get any control out of it here in the atmosphere. You never know. Might as well do some testing of that, though. Okay, that looks good. Launch this thing, see what we can do with this test article. Oh yeah, and then we need to upthrust this because for some reason it just wasn't having it. That's fine. Okay. So, I'll launch this up, see if I can get it to land safely. My ground track looking like. Good enough for me. Yeah, it's not going to have any control in the atmosphere. That's okay. I wonder if it stabilizes on its own. Let's see. I think it's going to. I think it wants to. That's cool. Yeah, it stabilizes, more or less. Okay, let's deploy parachutes. Just to slow down. I'd probably do shorter launches if this keeps not working, because the trick is, how hard do we need to use the retro rockets to land safely? Never tried that with a craft before. It's pretty tricky. We are kilometers above the terrain. We're about 800 meters up. Trick is to not run out of anything. Not good enough. It can do it though. Can do it. Need to do it sooner. Let's do a little shorter. We only need to get above 3 kilometers, so. Do one real quick. I think it can do it. We will land with retro rockets. This one doesn't work. I'm going to start it sooner. I did it at about 3 seconds there. I'm going to do it at like 6 or 7 this time and see how that does it. The goal is to just fine-tune it until you get it right, of course. Okay. Oh. Get off of me, you stupid rocket. Well, that's gonna be a failure. Give that thing some retro rockets to pull it away from the vehicle. I don't need it bothering me. Let's see. Alright, we got that. Staging. There we go. That'll work. You know what? Let me see something real quick too, actually. Because we can see in the vehicle assembly building what the crash tolerance for that part is that it has to land on. So let's take a peek. Ah. 9 meters per second. It has to touch down at 9 meters per second or less. I think I can pull that off. I'm going to try longer, then try more thrust if that doesn't work. I'm guesstimating around that 7 or 8 second mark is when I need to start doing that. Maybe 7. There we go. Go away, heat shield. Fly! Be free, heat shield. Be free. I really hope that thing doesn't hit me. Nah, it's going away. Majestic. Alright, touchdown goals. 9 or less meters per second. Down to like a few hundred meters. Alright, here we are. Nah. They don't have the thrust. Interesting. So we may not be able to do That style, the retro rockets. Hey, wait, what? That just worked. Blew up all the extra stuff, but it worked. That's a successful landing. Let's see if we can do that one more time. Oh, definitely. That'd work perfectly. What could go wrong? I can't imagine anything going wrong. Let's see if we can replicate that result. It was like... enough. Alright. If we can do that twice, I think we're in business. Still want to do like an orbital test before we put any poor hapless Kerbals in here, but as long as we know the magic number when we need to burn, we can do it. Thrust to weight ratio on that anyway, I don't even know. Go away, be free. Goodbye. Woo, that was close. That thing might hit me. Might hit me this time. We'll see. It's gonna be really close. I would be super okay with that. Alright. It's go time. I may even want to adjust it to 5 seconds. I'm gonna try that. Try 5. 5 might be the magic number. Six. Here we go. It's crunch time. Oh, that worked pretty well. That worked well. Yes! I would say that's a successful test. Retro rockets work. Awesome. All right. Pod tested. Need to do a few tweaks here. Ooh, yeah. You know, I need to mess with RSS sometime. I could have some fun with that. Alright, so let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. This is all working really well. Actually even like having this here. I might even add an extra parachute. We'll see. We'll see how it performs with orbital tests or suborbital tests. So we got that. We need to adjust these in here. I feel like maybe been there, done that. Let me tell you. That there. Pull that out. I feel like maybe those were blocked a bit. Let's see what it says now. RCS build age should have some... Alright. This thing... Turn all of them off. We only want it to do... Yeah. No, that one's roll. Those are roll. Don't listen to me. There we go. Okay. Cool. It should be yaw. Be pitch. Let's see what it says. Good. Do you not have roll authority? Where's my roll authority? Oh yeah, we can only roll in one direction. And I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna waste more mass with additional thrusters. That works for me. So it's got one axis of roll authority. That's all it needs. And then enough attitude control, it should be able to line itself up for re-entry. Cool. Alright, alright. Last thing we're gonna need on it, RCS build aid. We are going to need, how much mass is it going to add? Lampatron Jr. adds a little mass. It might throw this off, it might not, we'll see. You know what, I don't like that. I'd rather lower a bit. Looks good. Alright, we'll call that Soyuz. Help if I have the right caps on. Okay. Actually, wait a minute. What are we doing here? It's not Soyuz, it's Koyuz. It's Kerbal. It's Koyuz. Okay. Koyuz capsule. So, where are we going to go from here? Well, we need a few things. Next step's probably going to be to add the orbital module. Just going to be another one of these bad boys. With a docking port, some extra equipment on it. See what we got. That's gonna need its own clampatron, isn't it? Yeah. There we go. Have ourselves a good old-fashioned orbital module. I want to tuck that in there. Hopefully that doesn't bother the parachutes. Very cool. And that should be able to support a normal clampatron docking port, which is what we want. Good. I'm going to tell these to auto strut to the root part so that that remains stable in orbit. And then let's see, you have some bits and bobs on them extra. Throw a high gain antenna on there. Like that though. Let's do when it's extended. Let's rotate that. That's a little better. Very cool. The real deal has like a couple of little extra bits on there. And actually, this thing should be, well, it should be there, but there's a window there, so that doesn't really work, does it? We'll leave it where it is. We'll probably want to light docking in orbit. I don't know if there's anything else that would make it look better. I think that's pretty good. Let's give it a light. One of these guys. Good. Turn that way down, because those are always way too bright. That's cool. I like that. Looking pretty good so far. Not too much else to the orbital module. It's really just extra space and equipment. Get right down to it. Let's see then. We'll need to start working on the... There we go. Maybe, just maybe, it'll actually work the way the real thing is, and I'll put my RCS all on here, but we'll see. We don't want to stage that. Staging there. So, the utility section, we're going to want a couple of things. It pretty much only runs on monoprop, at least as far as Kerbal is concerned. Let's see what we can do with that. I have a trick up my sleeve. That one. That hold anyway. 400. That's really solid. But that's not anywhere near as long as it should be. It should be like twice as long as that, really. So we need some other stuff. Well, it's going to be in space, so let's give it some batteries. Do we have a battery that fits that? I don't think we do. So I'm thinking a structural tube. That. Not that one. There we go. Should still be longer than that, really. Well, yes and no. That's actually really about it. What we would be doing is putting some stuff in the structural tube. Options do we have for that? Do we have any out? Not much. Probably some batteries. I don't know if we'll need any other resources for it, really. I guess another really good question is what kind of Delta V are we looking at here? I think the real vehicle, actually, it does have a big retro rocket. I'm pretty sure they do all their orbital maneuvers with just thrusters. Let's find out. Crossfeed. Let's stick RCS here and see what kind of Delta V claims we have. We put 4 of these on here, which is what we would be doing. Doesn't tell me how much we get. That's not very useful. There we go. 532 meters per second. That's not shabby for orbital maneuvering around Kerbal. That'd probably get us a lot of different places. It could be better. It could be a lot worse. What's the thrust on these things, though? 8. See, wish this would show me. Also doesn't bring our center of mass down very well. What if we did 2 tanks? That get us? That's a pretty good number. Digging it. Pretty solid. That gives us a lot of options. And then I think what we would do is we would run it with the big motor, probably for orbital stuff. Hard to say what my actual thrust to weight ratio with this stuff is. It's putting out 8 kilonewtons. I could probably figure out what it is. What's the total mass of the vehicle? 10 tons. Probably reasonable. We're gonna leave those there because they should be there. Now here's a tricky bit. So I'm gonna be wanting to design still way too high of a center of mass. How am I gonna solve you? Needs to translate. See what happens when we put that engine on there. It might pull it down a lot. So here's a fun trick. I want a monoprop engine to power this, but they only give you this stupid thing, which is only able to be mounted on the side of things. Doesn't weigh nearly enough for what I want to do with it, but that's okay. What are we gonna do about that? 2 things. Thing I want to look at is why. Come here real quick. It's not gonna let me do that. Darn. I want to have that little shroud at the bottom like the real thing has. I think that'd be really fun. I bet you I can make it happen. Probably a trick to it. I did. Maybe not that. That's gonna cause some problems. How are we going to do this? Got an idea. About where are you at? There's a useful tool here. You. An interesting bit. The engine plates. Find the darn things. Plates. Where are you? There you are. They always look weird. There's a slightly bigger engine plate. What if we did that? Turned off the shroud. not gonna let me do that? Okay. Can't cheat our way to an engine shroud. That actually sticks out. That's unfortunate. Okay, so scratch that idea. But we are going to need one of those engine plates, because that's going to be the only way to stage this, so. Try that again. Okay. On to something. Maybe. Probably not. See what happens. This. Not that. Yeah, see, that still won't work the way I want it to. I'm just not going to worry about it. Thing. Ooh. Could do something. A lot of extra mass I don't need though. Alright, so on to actually giving this thing some controls. So we have an engine right here, but it's dumb. It sticks out the side. We're gonna fix that. Well, things first. I'm gonna mount it to the very dead center of the vehicle. It's still off axis though. If we look at it, our center thrust. That's not gonna help us one bit. Too hard to fix this though. And that doesn't work. But what you do is you hold shift and you get smaller increments. Good. I can actually use RCS build aid to fix that. There we go. That's it down. So we can see up here, I'm still generating torque because now it's off axis. But if we do this, we should be able to get it to a point where it's no longer generating torque. Tolerances are just really small. That looks pretty dead center. Maybe. Still generating a little torque, but we'll play with it. If it doesn't work well. Hello! Slightly different methodology for this too. Should be straight up and down. I don't know why it's set on ELU mode. It's kind of weird. There we go. It's almost no torque. Pretty centered visually. Try it. Let's see. So here's our engine. We have 907 meters per second. Doesn't have much in the way of thrust to weight, but that's okay. You know, you can eyeball that. Look at that. Pretty good. I have 4 of those. Real one does. That gives you translation forward for docking. And we're going to set this thing to not have any gimbaling. I don't believe the real one does. Okay, so I have a handy aid here actually. I'm going to show you guys this. This what this is, I don't know if you can see it and read it. It's the Haynes manual for the Soyuz. There's actually a bunch of these. I have one for Apollo as well, and they're really awesome. So it's, the joke is, the marketing gimmick is, Haynes manuals are manuals for vehicles, like you get them for cars and motorcycles and whatnot. They've been around forever. It's like a shop manual. And then a few years ago they started publishing Haynes manuals for other stuff. There's actually stuff for like sci-fi ships like the Millennium Falcon and the Enterprise. And then there's also stuff for real vehicles, land, sea, and air. And a bunch of really good ones for spaceships. And what's hilarious about them is it's not really a shop manual. It's actually an incredibly detailed, like, technical book talking about the vehicle. And I really like these. And why I got this one was because the one thing I couldn't find online was the RCS system layout for the Soyuz. Hard thing to find out. I just couldn't figure out how they were controlling the darn thing. But I managed to discover it, and now I can do that. So let's see here. Alright, that all makes sense. Okay, I see what they're doing. Let's see if I can replicate this. So, our tricky problem here is center of mass. I don't know if I'm ever going to turn this into a really good orbital maneuvering vehicle. Center of mass just kind of sucks, so we'll see. I may need to cheat with some reaction wheels at some point, but we're gonna try it for realsies first. Sometimes you can make pretty wacky off-axis vehicles and they're still really good, so make that how you will. So with this Soyuz, what does it do? Well, it has four, actually it has two multi-directional thrusters. I almost want to do this slightly differently because this one's, there shouldn't be this nozzle. Let's try this. Where is that little square? There's like a little square bit. Yeah, you, I like you. That. No. Doesn't like me at all. Interesting. Okay, I can't mount the square bit. What we need is like a little structural bit. Maybe the little octagonal strut. How about that? That could work. Digging it. Digging it. We're gonna kind of pull it in a bit, lower it. Alright, looks good. So, what should this thing have? It should have that you roll. Zoom in on this. Kind of line it up. Doesn't matter too much. Gonna have roll authority. Come on. Okay. Let's tell them that so they know what they're supposed to do. These actually control, these are going to be controlling roll and also some translation maneuvers. Actually, these ones are all translation, I'm sorry. These are dorsal ventral translation. The roll ones are going to be down here. So we've got those. And then we've got one, and the real one, it has actually two. But I am not worried about that. Go ahead and center it up. Good. That one will be controlling translation left and right. And then there's, like I said, there should probably really be two of those, so they balance out. No, I know what I'm gonna do. These ones do roll. I'm sorry. I'm thinking incorrectly about that. These ones are roll. I gotta go around to each one anyway, so. This one is port starboard translation. Excellent. Excellent. This is a good way to center things. You can grab the directional toggles when you're in snap mode. And if you wiggle them around and then put them back to the center, they'll all be perfectly centered when you're done. That one's translation. Port starboard. Everything else is off. Looks good. It has 2 for translation dorsal and ventral. We're going to disable these by default. We don't want the attitude control for the pod messing everything up. The last little bit, it does have one on each of these. There we go. That centered it. Aw, did not do it. Making me sad. This one controls rear retrograde translation. And recess it in here. We're also going to angle it out a bit because they're actually angled out. I'm going to angle them out 1 notch on the rotation. Hopefully that will clear that. I'm not sure. Wait. In the end, if it ends up not working out, we'll just do translation blocks. But I'm going to try to do it kind of like the real thing first. That's kind of the goal here. There we go. That looks pretty good. That's what it should be. If it'll really work, but that's what it should be. And we're gonna set that to fore and aft only. Fore and aft only. Cool. We also need to give this thing some solar panels real quick before I go on. What do we got? I don't know, 1x4. Because that's what the real thing should have. About roughly centered. Ooh. There we go. Looks pretty good. Cool. And then the last little bits, as far as RCS control. We're gonna have 4 here. They're controlling pitch. These are yaw. Pitch. Okay. That is the RCS system on it, at least what it should be. We're gonna auto strut it to the grandparent part. I'm gonna auto strut it to the root part. There we go. I mean, that vehicle should be pretty good in orbit. We'll see. I don't need to figure out how to get it there. That's the tricky bit. Let's turn it into a payload. So, I like to do something with these because it should, emphasis on should, have a launch escape tower. We're gonna give it one. Not too hard to do, really. Trick is not that one. This one. Put one of these bad boys on there. I don't necessarily like that. The way that light is. Do that. Let's change the light. Scout past the light. Yes. Cool. Come on. Big enough? Not. We need it a little bigger. This won't be completely accurate. That'll be pretty good. We'll be able to do that. I'm gonna hide that for now, though. And then you stick a launch escape tower on top of here. Hide RCS build date for now. So, that's kind of how you do a launch escape tower in this game. And then you can have the shroud that pulls away. It's pretty slick. What we're gonna need coupler. That's not gonna do. We're gonna need an end plate. Because we have that weird little engine there. Okay, so that up here at the top. That'll work. And you know what? We're only ever going to use that for aborts, so throw that up there too. Okay. So now we can build the shroud. Because again, when you have a launch escape system like this, there's usually a shroud over the payload. That is the case with Soyuz. Get it sticking out the right amount. I'm gonna do this. Not really 100% how it looks, but it'll do the trick. Now, how does that work? So you want to be able to lose your launch escape shroud. Well, we're going to go into action groups, and we're going to set this up. So we have an abort. What's our abort sequence? Well, our abort sequence is going to activate the engine on this. decouple this. And I'll have to manually do the parachutes. We don't want to activate them this way. We need this tower to pull us away from it. So, and that's a launch escape system. I'm gonna do it that way. Really, the only way that's not gonna break things. I'm gonna have it deploy this. This will be set in clamshell mode, so it'll just split apart. When I did my Apollo one, the Apollo thing and this thing in real life, they actually kind of like pulled the shroud away with it, and I had it doing that, so it would actually pull the shroud off with it. It was really cool. But I'm not going to do that here for the sake of not blowing all my stuff up. So that'll be the abort. Then I'm going to have custom group 1 will be, okay, we made it, we don't need to abort. Let's get rid of this stupid thing. And that's going to be similar things. Activate that. Deploy that. But then we're also going to decouple this. So that it gets rid of it. And that'll take care of our shroud. We won't need it anymore at that point. That pretty much sums that bit up. I'm also going to do custom group 2 is going to be deploying things into orbit. And actually, you know what? I'm going to add this on to... Yeah, why not? Custom group 2. Going to deploy the solar panels. And that. There we go. I'll leave the lights for later. I don't think there's anything else I need to do once it's in orbit. Yeah. That looks pretty good as far as the payload. How much does this thing weigh? About 12.5 tons? That's not too bad. Let's see then. I want a third action group. I need this one. Once I'm re-entering the atmosphere, and I've done all my decoupling and everything, I need to turn these back on. Because they're what controls this little thing. I have them turned off by default, so they don't mess with my other stuff. So, there you have it. It's all looking pretty good so far. Check our staging. Stage. Sure. Yep. Looking good. Yeah, that all looks good. Save what we have. So, where are you at? There's the root part. We need to give this its orbital insertion stage. Not too hard to do. I believe it's... Is it this one? Alert that. And I believe it's going to use this engine? I think that's the engine. Maybe. Thrust to weight ratio on Kerbal for that. Not bad. We'll go with it. What are these? Those are really small. They might work. How big the real one is. It might be doing like something little like that. Might be all that's necessary. But I'll go with this. Kerbal. And we could do what we want. So, that stage, I like that stage. That's a pretty good stage. Not bad. So that should do pretty well. Let's do an inner stage decoupler. Not that one, that's a stupid one. There we go. Okay. So there's our Stage that inserts it into orbit. What is... It'd be better with one of these. Try this real quick. That's a little closer to the real deal, but I don't think it's going to perform the way I want it to. I'll tell you what we do. See something. But any number of very nice engines here. About that. That's a pretty good one. We'll go with that. Look at how efficient that is. That's only good for orbit though, but that's fine with me. That's what we want. Yeah, that works. That's pretty solid, I think. A little more fuel. Yeah, that works for me. That should be more than enough to insert this in orbit. Okay, so let's do an interstage. Not working for me there. Guess we'll need to do a thrust plate. Need probably the big one of this. Where is it? Long one. Yeah. Engine plates are awesome. Put all kinds of cool stuff together. There we go. Looking good so far. And there's a fuel tank adapter. Going down to that one. Longer. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Working on my Soyuz. There we go. I think that's about right. Looks close-ish. I do want my... Where you at? There you are. Some control authority to cheat a bit. We need to go down the line here. Grandparent strutting this thing. However well that'll do. Okay, and then we're gonna want outer stage. I'm gonna decouple off these. Put it right there. And then we have these sweet Soyuz rocket bits, which we'll have to work with a bit. Looks good. Nope, I want to reattach those somewhere. Put the engines on the bottom of them. That'd probably help. Pretty good. Not bad. I can auto strut those. Yeah, we'll do it to the grandparent part. We'll see how this flies. I don't know how well this is really gonna fly. There we go. Looks good. Where are you at? Switch that. That has to separate and fire that engine. Beyond that, I'd say it's all looking pretty good, staging wise. We're gonna need to do some adjusting here. Alright, so let's look at our... Yeah, that looks good. I think the real one burns all of these and just drops the boosters off. Let's see what we can do with that. Yeah, there we go. That's looking pretty solid. Do some struts here real quick just to shore this up a bit. Just don't feel like it's gonna be very agreeable. My opinion. That ought to do the trick. Looking good. I think this thing can get to orbit. I don't know how well it's gonna fly. I think I can get there. Definitely looks like a Soyuz. May not fly very well, for all we know. I'll have to see. These don't have any, the engines don't have any gimbaling, so that'll be the tricky bit. Okay. Put some launch towers on this to see what we get. I have a feeling it's not going to work at first. I'm going to have to tweak some things, but might. I even want... I want some winglets on here too. I have a feeling they're gonna get wrecked. I'll put them there. Give it a shot. And those. Staging's looking pretty solid. Liking it. This is going to be an unmanned test because I fully expect this to end horribly. Last little bit. Rotate it for launch. All right. My thrust to weight. See, that's the bit I don't like. The 0.55. What point does that become good? Might need to do a different engine in the middle, even though it's not correct. That's the engine. That's it. But that thrust to weight ratio is not good. Be positive at all. Okay, yeah, that's bad. So that has to go. That engine won't work. Sacrifice a little realism. That's okay. Get one of these on here? I don't know about that. Like it's gonna get damaged. Definitely does the trick. Gracious. Well, that sure did lower our delta V. Goodness. That was nasty. Could still get me into orbit. It's gonna be really close. See what we get. Lower this down slightly too. Maybe not. Else that would work. This seems like an abnormally large engine for what I'm trying to accomplish, but I'll go with it for now. Getting it into space. Always make it better later. I don't know if those are gonna help or not. Try. Alright. Final staging check. Good. Looks good. Good. Yep. How about that? Wait a minute. Yeah, no, that's good. Where are you? That's not good. That is. Okay. Yeah. Oh, looks great. Launch the darn thing. What could go wrong? Only everything. I'm expecting it to just be like starts. Doing alright. Goes nothing. Launch it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. So far so good. Pitch. 5 degrees. Start our ascent. Come on. Roll properly. A little wacky wobbly, I'm not gonna lie. More struts. Problem is with the wacky wobbles. You get that wacky wobble going. Wow. Okay. Well, it definitely got to orbit. Good grief. I don't think the remaining fuel reserve is going to be good enough, but what do I know? That was a really bad trajectory. Probably have to work on that. Take about... Also tumbling. Not really good. I could use RCS. We already need to be starting it. How much delta V does this thing have? I don't think it has enough. Not even close. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna work. But that was a really crummy trajectory. I did not realize how freaking good that rocket was gonna be. Like, man, that was pretty gnarly. Give it a go though. It might get into an orbit enough to test some things. We'll have to refine that launch though. Yeah, I don't even have, I maybe have 3/4 of what I need for this maneuver. Not looking great. But I think the rocket is capable of it. I just had a really, really crummy trajectory. So. Come on. Or run out of atmosphere. Nah, this is going to be a re-entry test, folks. Alright, well, that's fine. A re-entry test isn't a bad thing. Okay. Hey, my shroud stays on too. That's fine with me too. Okay, so re-entering, we need to decouple this bad boy. Wink. Hit number 3. Go retrograde. Come on. Come on. Control. Hey, look at that. It does have control. It's not great. But control it is. Let's see how it does on re-entry. Probably do less ablator to get a lower center of mass. We'll see how the ablator does. Alright, how do we do? Yeah, we barely used any ablator. I think we'll be good with that. Get rid of that for now. Parachutes do their job a little better. As soon as they open, we should be looking pretty good. We're going to be landing in water. I don't know how that's going to affect this. That is why we do unmanned tests. So far so good though. About to deploy chutes. Chutes up. Alright. So again, we are waiting until our time to impact is 5 seconds, and then we fire our retro rockets and hope for the best. Not how that's going to work on water, but that's what we're going to do. About 17 seconds. And a half. Really long seconds, I gotta say. And see what altitude I'm at when I do this. Firing. Nope, that didn't work. Water landings are not advisable. Work on that. That's okay. Re-entry worked pretty well up until the point where we landed, and then not so much. That's okay though. We learned things from that test. That's what we want. Learned that that thing was vastly overpowered. What did I do? That second stage was just monstrous. Only 2.87 breast to weight ratio. Like, come on. Not that exciting. I don't think this thing is telling me real values. I think it's goofing up somehow. That was intense. Maybe I'm wrong. It felt intense. But one thing it definitely needed, based on that, was need to strut. Not that. We need to strut this. Because that needs to be more rigid. That should probably help a lot. It worked, sort of. Water landing's not good. So note to self, don't land it on water, just like the real thing. I'm just kind of confused by that, because that was so overpowered, what that did. Yet it was acting like this wasn't going to be enough. I find that really hard to believe. It says it's not good enough. I'm gonna choose to not believe it and just give it a shot. What happens? Go wrong. Except for everything. That's problematic though, because that means we can't really do aborts when I goof everything up. What are you doing, you crazy, crazy vessel, you? Why am I seeing through half of you? That doesn't make any sense. That's really weird. That's a... Oh no! Kerbal space program has crashed. Back up here real quick. Sure didn't like that. Doing one more launch tonight. What's happening? Bear with me, folks. Take a moment. Point the correct end towards space. Well, while we're waiting on this, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be doing next in Kerbal. I'm going to get back to my thing I was doing originally. If you look at some of my older videos where I was going to land on everything and put a flag down, I'm going to get back to that. That's going to be fun. But I also want to play with, I really want to play with ion engines, which, you know, ion engines, there's not much to them. They are what they are. But I want to play with, in real life, they're so low thrust that they burn really, really long amounts of time, where it's just like you spiral out from something. And I want to see if I can figure out how that works, how you can calculate that stuff, how quickly I'm going to figure that out, but I want to mess with that. And I've been watching The Expanse a lot, which if you haven't watched The Expanse and you're even remotely interested in spaceflight, you should totally be watching The Expanse because it's awesome. It's sci-fi, but they're pretty faithful to the mechanics of spaceflight, assuming that you had a distant future tech, super efficient high thrust engine that can burn at 1G continuously. Could do pretty much everything they're doing on that show. Most of the time. But I want to play around with, I'll probably have to do some modded engines of some sort. But I want to play around with that concept of doing a burn where it's a 1G burn halfway there and you flip around and you do a 1G deceleration burn. How do you calculate that trajectory? I'm sure somebody's thought about it. I want to figure that out. That sounds interesting. So, I have some ideas of what I'm going to keep doing in Kerbal. Alright. Let's give it a shot. One more try. Maybe 2 more tries. I don't know. I want to see if that center stage has the thrust to get it into orbit. I feel like it should. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's find out. Come on. Maybe not. It doesn't have a lot of thrust. I might need that big engine. Clearly this thing needs to pitch over pretty fast. Nope, it won't work. Okay, so we do need that big engine. Let's slap it back on there and try it one more time. If that doesn't work, I don't know what does. That big guy. How much thrust did that have? Maybe we can do something just a little less insane. 1300. Eh. The Russian version of the mainsail. I'm fine with that. Alright. One more time. Oh, that's nice. I didn't notice that when you switch from fine to full rotation control, you actually get a color change to let you know which one you're in now. That's a good change. I like that. All right, let's do this. A little bit quicker. There we go. Get this thing going. Come on, come on. Stop going back and forth. Alright. It's starting to arc. This is what we want to do. We want to do this nice arc. Don't want that. Slow it down a bit. All right. That should be orbital. That should be a little easier to get to. Let's see. I have 1100. Not quite enough. Close. Well, 1300 will get me there. We'll give it a shot. I probably need to give this stage more fuel. Let's see. We need to start our burn in about 25 seconds. That's fine. I even started a little early. Never mind, we needed to start it a while ago. Hopefully this will get us into orbit. We need to work on this. We may need more engines, we may need more fuel here. I might need to make this twice the length. Not a super efficient rocket, that's for sure. Let's get rid of that stuff. Come on. I'm probably not going to make it again. I'll revert it. We'll try one more time. Keep that second stage around so we can at least get into orbit. Yeah, we might pull it off. Come on. Get out of the atmosphere. That's all you gotta do. Yeah, we need a better engine here. We might still just make it. I'm not sure. Come on. Yeah, it's not gonna stay out of the atmosphere. Try some slight tweaks. I think what we need, it's all pretty good. We need more fuel here. We need a better engine. Now, what is this thing providing me? Go up a step. Quality here. 125 kilonewtons. What do we got that's better than that? One of those would do. Noodle would do. There we go. 300. There, that works. And then we're gonna want, I think we want more fuel. Instead of that fuel tank, I think we want you, perhaps. Yep. Give that a shot. Oh, you're gonna do me like that, really? Okay. Thanks. Okay. This one ought to make it. I just need to remember to probably plot that burn and just go. Like, I probably should start the burn while I'm plotting it and then actually do it. That's what I should probably do. And away we go. Alright, throttling down a bit. Pitching 10 degrees. Let's do this aggressive. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, there we go. Nope, nope. Bring it back. Bring it back a bit. There you go. Looking good so far. I bet you we can reduce the fuel that this one carries by quite a bit. Yeah, by quite a bit. Why are you not decoupling? What did I do wrong here? How? Man, This is not cooperating. What are you doing? Great. I do not know what it's doing. I think it was stuck to the bottom of this engine. I don't think it was mounted on the right point. Alright, we're off. Do this. Going. Come on, start pitching. There we go. That's a clean separation. Cool. We actually have time for the burn now. Starting our burn in about 30 seconds. We can ditch the shroud. Turn on the lights. Looking good. 23 seconds to burn. 14 seconds. Start. And alright, we're burning. Yeah, we do. I think it's going better this time. Oh god, somehow Kerbal's got in here. Oh no. Totally didn't want them in there, but okay. Go horribly wrong, kill them all. Why not? So far so good. I think we're gonna get into orbit. We are out of fuel. Come on. I don't even care at this point as long as it's in orbit. There we go. We are in fact in an orbit. Oh yeah. Pull everything out. Quick save. Much fuel. We didn't even use that much. That was pretty good. What do we have? 880 meters per second of delta V. That's really not terrible. Warp. See this thing in the light. Look really good. Oh, I can already tell it looks really good. Yep, yeah, that looks great. Look at that. It even kept it did my shroud that I wanted this whole time. I got my shroud. Didn't even think about doing that way, but there we are. How about that, folks? We have ourselves a genuine Soyuz. Alright, let's do some RCS stuff. See how well this thing handles. Not terrible. Pretty decent roll control. Hey, welcome back. Look at that. Look at that thing. That looks great. Alright, let's see. Stabilize a bit. See how it does with roll. Nice. Okay, okay. Point this bad boy prograde. Give it a little thrust prograde. How's it going? This works really nice. Yeah, this is turning out really good. I'm having a good time here. Finally got around to doing it. Alright, it doesn't... Does it actually adjust my speed? Yes! Okay, sweet. So I don't have as much reverse thrust. This is just an orbital test. This is the first one I actually got into an orbit. Hopefully I can land it. It's a little tricky to land. Right now I'm just checking the RCS system to see if it actually works as intended. Let's do some translation. I want to see if it gets into crazy rolls doing translation. Yes, it does. Okay. So it's not the best at translation. Looks like the attitude control can compensate. To some extent. Yeah. It's doing a pretty good job. Might want some extra attitude control thrusters at the back, maybe. This isn't bad. This is not bad at all. adjust our orbit. Where are we at? Apoaps. Let's raise our periaps. About a minute from periaps, or from apoaps. Okay. Test some orbital maneuvers here. Not bad. That thing handles really well. Well, I would declare this a pretty decently well-handling vehicle. I'll have to try a rendezvous sometime to see just how well it does. But now the real question is, can I land it? Without killing these poor hapless Kerbals that I did not mean to have on here. I was going to fly this unmanned the first time. But here we are. And it has to land. Has to land. On land. Can't land it in the ocean, it will break. So let's see what we can do with that. I could just like dump it right now. I don't want to land it in the dark though. Go around. Try a few approaches. We've got this nice long track here. I'm gonna deorbit it. Let's do it. There we go. Yeah, we're doing here. We'll see. I don't know how well this is gonna go, but we'll try. A little poof for stabilization. You're ready for re-entry interface. Let's ditch this. Alright. We're ready for re-entry. Not how well it's gonna go. We hit re-entry heating. Come on. This is a really not exciting re-entry so far. There we go. What, did we lose our shroud? What happened there? Weird. Come on, bring it back. Yeah, I think we're gonna land on land. Maybe. Hopefully we don't land in that lake. I'm exploded. It's probably the propulsion module. The service module and the orbital module are both dumped while we're re-entering, so one or the other of them could have exploded, but I would guess it was the service module with propulsion and everything. I think it might. If I can land on land, I know when to fire my retro rockets to land successfully. Maybe. We'll see. If not, we'll revert back to that quick save I made and we'll rescue them and we'll try again some other time. Oh man, this looks great. Look at this. Look how cool that looks. That's awesome. Might land on like a hill. Have a lot of slowing down to do. So good. Alright, so we're coming down on highlands. What that means. Parachutes. Out. Shoots out. Coupling the heat shield so the parachutes work better. May lose the heat shield there, I don't know. Got a ways to go. I should probably just put bigger chutes on the darn thing and then it would land safely no matter where it comes down, but a little more fun this way. Alright. Looks like we're gonna land on a hillside of some sort. Orbit. Far so good. Hope. Might do a little rolling. See. Ooh. Bye, heat shield. An eclipse going on over there. That's kind of fun. Keep an eye on that. Alright, we gotta keep an eye on our time to touchdown though. 5-ish seconds from impact, I want to fire my retro rockets. Oh yeah. No, it literally won't land successfully without them. Might wait a hair past 5. Yeah, I don't know if I'm late to that party or if it's happening slowly right now, but we'll keep an eye on that. It's getting more significant. Alright. Crunch time. Coming up on impact. Cross your fingers. Hey! Capsule survived. Now we're gonna roll forever. Parachutes might stop us. Come on. Come on. Come on, stop. Oh man, we're gonna roll for a while here. That's funny. But it survived. It landed. I would call that a success. Stop breaking things, that would be swell. Might need to just bail the Kerbals before this thing gets them all killed. Ooh, wait. These things really like to freaking roll, so yeah. Oh no, it smushed him. Oh! Well, that's problematic. Could like hurry it up, you stupid thing. Okay. Sacrifice will not be in vain. Good grief. I need to put some kind of roll arrestor on this. Does that thing have any kind of roll authority? I don't think it does it? Oh, we're picking up speed. This might blow up the pod. I gotta be really careful about where I land these stupid things because they like to roll. Let's see where we end up. Ooh. Ooh, it's looking good. Get a better view. That's cool. Hey, hey! I think it's stopping. It's breakdancing at the moment. That looks awesome. Very cool. I'm gonna screenshot that. Yeah, I've only seen one once or twice, and they were only partials from orbit, so that's pretty neat. I don't know if it's affecting the overall lighting or not. I'm pretty sure Scatterer does do eclipses, so does seem like it's getting darker here. Let's see. Oop, whip, rip, rip. Let's reset the camera. Let's lift the camera up a bit. It definitely seems darker than it was, doesn't it? Let's zoom out. Yeah, it's darker. Let's get these Kerbals out before madness ensues. Like that stupid thing starts rolling again. Yep, hatches are obstructed. Well, we'll just leave it and recover it. That's awesome. Speed it up a little bit, see how long it lasts. Eclipses last a really long time on Kerbal. Yeah, it's getting lighter as it goes away. That's awesome. Very cool. I'm impressed. That's a really cool feature on that mod. Awesome. Neat. Well, that was really legit. I have not seen that happen yet, so I'm pretty happy right now. Alright. Let's recover some Kerbals before I kill any more of them. Unfortunately, I smushed one. That's an awesome mod. Oh yeah, you can see it. Look, you can see it from the tracking station. The shadow of the eclipse moving across the planet. That's really legit. Oh man, that's so cool. Huh. Awesome. Very cool. Well, that was fun. Succeeded in building a Soyuz alike, getting it to go into space and landing it more or less successfully. I'd call that success. Might do some more with it here down the road. If you weren't here before, well, my game crashed a little while ago and I was talking about what I want to do next. Which lines? See. Oh, are you talking about the green ones? That's my satnet. I have a geostationary ComSat net. I have one around Kerbal and the moon. And I believe the video is still up of me putting them up. That was a fun one. Let me see real quick. 1 second. Let's see. Yep, there's a couple videos. It's on the Kerbal Space Program playlist on my channel. Questland Everywhere number 7, Deep Space Comnet Setup. Was that the Deep Space one? I think so. I show you how to do that. It should be that one. That was fun. Oh, this is actually Sandbox. This is just all whatever. I don't do the science and money on this mode. And with this one, if you didn't see what I was talking about earlier, my plans so far. So I've been kind of doing this thing where I'm trying to land on everything and put a flag on it. And I kind of got sidetracked a few times. Like I've got this goofy thing on the moon right now. So I've been sidetracked a bit. I landed on the poles. I made an Apollo rover. So I got a little distracted. Then I started doing the Soyuz stuff. But I want to get back to my landing everywhere thing. So I'm going to do that. And then I also want to start playing around with ion engines. Specifically like in real life ion engines. When they do a burn with them, they're so low thrust that they'll be burning for a really long time, and it's almost like a spiral outward. And I want to figure out how that actually works, how you calculate that. And also, I've been watching The Expanse a lot, and in The Expanse, you know, it's sci-fi, so they burn one direction at 1g acceleration so that they can stand like they're on Earth, and then they get halfway there and they turn around and they burn backwards the other way to slow down to where they're going. And I want to figure out how you would calculate that. So I might play around with that here in the nearest future too. Probably have to use a mod. But I guess I gotta get these guys home at some point too. But yeah, keep an eye out. I try to do Kerbal at least once a week. I've been kind of bad about that the last few weeks because there have been so many good games coming out. But I'm trying to get back to doing Kerbal at least once a week. And I stream other stuff too. A lot of like I do some like motorcycle racing sims and strategy games and your random survivals and whatnot. So, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream there for the night. That was pretty good. That was successful. Might do some more Kerbal this weekend, but there's also some stuff coming out that I want to play, so we'll see. If you are still here, I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun tonight with this. It was tricky, but it turned out really good. So, you know, like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is your platform of choice does. I appreciate it. And keep an eye out for me coming back here. I'll definitely be streaming something this weekend. I'm just not sure what yet. Oh yeah, take a look at some of my stuff. I go over a few things that I like to do, like some tips and tricks in a few videos, and I've been thinking about doing more of those, so. But I have a lot of fun with this game. I've played it a lot. So I'm kind of okay at it. And yeah, if you're going to start learning how to play the game, check out like also Scott Manley. He is awesome, and he has some great tutorial videos, like your basic tutorials, so. He's a great person to watch too for that. I learned a lot from him. So check that out sometime too. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go for now. I hope you all enjoyed, and have a good evening.